The U.S. has begun evacuating non-essential personnel and family members from its embassies and military bases in the Middle East in light of escalating tensions with Iran. The move follows President Donald Trump's accusation that Tehran is slow-walking negotiations. Based on our latest analysis, we decided to reduce the footprint of our mission in Iraq, the State Department said in an emailed statement to the media. Reuters cited a U.S. official as saying that voluntary departures had also been authorized at the embassies in Kuwait and Bahrain. So, United States is on high alert over concerns that Israel might launch a strike on Iranian nuclear facilities, The Washington Post reported. The Trump administration is concerned that Israel could target Iran's nuclear sites without U.S. approval if nuclear talks between Washington and Tehran break down. Amid these fears, heightened tensions have emerged as hopes fade for President Trump to reach a deal with Tehran to limit Iran's nuclear program and prevent another major conflict in the Middle East following the Israel-Hamas war. The Pentagon has likewise approved the departure of family members from military installations in the region. CENTCOM is working in close coordination with our Department of State counterparts, as well as our allies and partners in the region, to maintain a constant state of readiness to support any number of missions around the world at any time, a defense official told reporters. According to The Washington Post, American intelligence officials are concerned that Israel may strike Iranian nuclear facilities without U.S. consent. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office dismissed reports last month that Israel was discussing potential strikes with Trump as fake news. In an interview with the New York Post aired, Trump said he was less confident about reaching a deal with Iran after 5 rounds of negotiations mediated by Oman failed to produce a breakthrough. The president previously said he wanted to completely dismantle Iran's nuclear program, something Tehran has firmly rejected. Iran is not seeking a nuclear weapon, and U.S. militarism only fuels instability, the Iranian mission to the UN said in a statement on X. Defense Minister Aziz Naserzadeh warned that Iran would target all U.S. bases across the region without hesitation, if attacked. The Iranian military discussed a possible response to the Israeli attack. New York Times reported this, citing an Iranian official. Tehran reportedly has prepared a plan for an immediate counterattack using hundreds of ballistic missiles. It should be noted that U.S. media have received information from Washington that Israel is ready to conduct a military operation against Iran.
The head of the U.S. Central Command responsible for the Middle East, General Michael Kurilla, told the U.S. House of Representatives that he had prepared a plan to strike Iran. He passed it on to Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and President Donald Trump, the Times of Israel reports. I have provided the Secretary of Defense and the President a wide range of options, Central Command head Michael Kurilla said during testimony before the House Armed Services Committee. Kurilla was responding to Representative Mike Rogers of Alabama, the chairman of the committee, who asked if CENTCOM was prepared to respond with overwhelming force if Iran does not permanently give up its nuclear ambitions. I take that as a yes. The Alabama Republican asks after Kurilla responds. Yes, Kurilla says. Earlier, President Trump allowed a strike on Iran if nuclear talks between Washington and Tehran failed to produce results. At a meeting of the House Armed Services Committee, Kurilla was asked whether the command was ready to fulfill their promise. He replied that he was ready to strike. I have given the Secretary of Defense and the President a wide range of options, he said. According to the general, Iran has the capacity to produce 25 kilograms of weapons-grade uranium within 1 week of the decision. China's first nuclear warhead for a ballistic missile contained 16 kilograms of uranium, and the explosion yield was 12 kilotons, the Atomic Juice blog previously noted. The 6th round of talks between Iran and the US on the nuclear program is scheduled to take place in Muscat on June the 15th, Anadolu Agency reported on Tuesday. Washington is demanding that Tehran completely abandon its uranium enrichment program. Iran considers the proposal unacceptable, but is ready to limit it in order to lift sanctions. Trump told Fox News that Iran was being much more aggressive in the talks than it had been a few days ago, and that he did not know why. Iranian leader Ayatollah Khamenei said the same day that enriching nuclear fuel was an unalienable right of Iran, like the right of any sovereign state, and that the Iranian nation would not give it up. "We will not come down from this mountain," the Middle East Spectator quoted the Ayatollah as saying. OPEC has made a decisive move to punish member states violating production quotas by ramping up output and pushing oil prices to new lows as the global markets react. The shockwaves hit Russia the hardest, with its economy already strangled by sanctions and inflation, now gasping for air under the weight of collapsing revenues and shrinking influence within the oil cartel. Recently, OPEC Plus announced plans for a significant increase in oil production for July, adding 411,000 barrels per day. Euromaidan Press reports. This is the third consecutive monthly hike, and the move aims to regain market share and discipline overproducing members like Russia, Iraq, and Kazakhstan. Despite the risk of oversupply, the group, led by Saudi Arabia, is prioritizing volume over price to reassert its influence in the global oil market, building on its previous decision not to increase prices. The immediate effect of this decision has been a notable decline in oil prices. For Russia, these developments pose significant challenges. As of early June 2025, the price of Russian Urals crude oil has fallen below $50 per barrel, marking its lowest level since June 2023. Specifically in April, Urals crude was priced at around $47.50. This is extremely below the $70 benchmark used in the initial Russian budget planning for the year. It is estimated that each $10 drop in oil prices costs Russia approximately $17 billion annually. The resulting revenue gap of around $40 billion is expected to widen the deficit to 10% of the projected Russian annual budget of approximately $415 billion, Euromaidan Press says. Moreover, Russia's position in the Asian oil market is under threat. While Russia has been exporting discounted oil to countries like India and China, with the massive increase in production, other OPEC Plus members are also targeting these markets, increasing competition and potentially driving prices even lower, while at the same time offering better quality oil compared to the Russians. This increased competition in Asia could erode Russia's market share and further impact its oil revenues. Additionally, Russia's influence within OPEC Plus appears to be waning. The recent production increases have been driven primarily by Saudi Arabia, with Russia reportedly unhappy about these hikes. Overall, while Russia has a say in increasing OPEC Plus oil production on paper, it may be more of a forced move by more influential members who stand to benefit more from it, mainly the Gulf states. Due to sanctions, the lower price, and higher production costs of Urals crude, Russia faces increased pressure to offer greater discounts, further hurting its budget. As OPEC Plus members plan to increase production further in the coming months, Russia may face even more challenging times ahead. So OPEC is punishing Putin, making it harder for the Russian dictator to continue the war.